This is going to be a little bit of a nasty story. Today, we're going to be talking about how I lost my V card. And, so the first time I actually was intimate with someone. The story is intriguing. So before I tell you exactly how it happened, let's give you a little backstory. So, I grew up very sheltered. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up because of the way I was raised, and I'm an extrovert, but I was raised like an introvert. Well, when I started going out into the world, of course, I was surrounded by a lot of Gen Xers. And one Gen Xer in particular, who I ended up becoming pretty decent friends with later on, he says to me, the first time that you lose your V card, you don't want it to be with someone that you like or someone that you love. You want it to be with someone that you're not attracted to. You want it to be with someone that you may even be a little bit repulsed to. But it cannot be with someone that you are going to fall in love with. So that was something that I took a lot of consideration into when I decided to finally go out and do it. I was extremely nervous, by the way. I'm a person that struggles with anxiety. I know a lot of you also struggle with anxiety. So the very notion of doing this is difficult. I think that a lot of women seem to think that the typical man is just, willing and ready and waiting at all given times to engage in that act. And I think that the act is actually a lot easier for women today than it is for men. When you observe the fact that so many women today have like body counts like sky high, like John Wick would say, damn, if he knew what their number was, it's just telling. So for me, I was just very shy. I was a shy little boy, and it took me time to come out of my shell. It took me a time to really discover myself and to become more comfortable in the world. And even now, as I'm older, I just want to be left alone. That's a Gen X thing. Leave me alone. So anyway, I decide to go out one evening with a friend, and we go to this gentlemen's club, as they are called, right? So we go in there and we're chilling, and there are girls in there, and of course they're dancing. We have a little cash, so we're putting money on the table. Then we sit down, and some of the girls will come around. They'll talk to us, and there was one particular girl that she caught my eye, and we started talking. We would talk back and forth, and eventually, I decided that what, this is the girl. This is the girl, right? So, and it's just amazing because back in those days, like things were so much cheaper. This was 20 years ago. And, I had a job, I was working. And so I went there and I was talking to the girl. She was really cool. And there was a thing called the champagne room. And, there's a thing that Chris Rock did. And he said, there's no lovemaking in the champagne room. There's no lovemaking in the champagne room. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, either there was no lovemaking for Chris in the champagne room, or he's lying about it because there's a plenty of lovemaking in the champagne room. So I told this girl, I was like, oh, I want to go to the champagne room with you. And because they had a champagne room. So I went to the champagne room, and no one's actually drinking champagne in the champagne room. And I was like, I just want to, do something. And she was like, okay. And I made her an offer, and I think it was probably like $120. It was not a ton of money. And she was like, cool. And I was super nervous. I didn't even take everything off. And it lasted maybe 30 seconds. I don't know. I told you I was like so nervous. It went by very, very quickly. It was so dark. And I feel like that was the best value that I could have gotten. Because on one hand, it wasn't with someone who was like so repulsive. I would be, like just wrecked for life. But then at the same time, it wasn't with someone that I was going to necessarily fall in love with. There's a lot of dudes who end up going through that crap. They're like, I'm in love with a stripper. Yeah, that wasn't me. I didn't fall in love with her. And I remember like the last time I saw her, like it looks like she was being fired from her job. Like they fired her, but things happen. But that was basically all of it. And then after that, I had a bunch of other experiences but there was nothing special to report in. And for like young men that are like wondering, like, how should they go about getting rid of the V card? I would say that at this point in time, do not waste your money like going around and like trying to do what I did. It's because these days, like for that kind of girl back, in today's era, we're talking about like anywhere from $500 minimum to 1,000. You know, and and like that was in a safe environment. It was in a club. It was a champagne room. It was nice. An experience like that in the U.S. This is unheard of because one, it's not legal, and then two, if you want to go to some place like Nevada where it is, it's going to be in this sky high inflation. Forget about it. It's literally not worth it, and you do not want to go and meet someone off the streets. Like forget about that. My recommendation is if you wanted to go in that down that route, you could go to Mexico, specifically Tijuana, and it's legal there. It's they get tested there. You could find someone there. There's a bunch of different places. There's Hong Kong. That's the most popular place. It's not terrible and it's pretty affordable, but then there's also a bunch of other places too where they're not as packed as Hong Kong because everyone else is going to Hong Kong. So I would recommend looking for one of the local places, and you can even ask the taxi drivers. If you take a taxi, you can ask the taxi drivers, or even like the Uber driver, like, hey, I want to go and have fun with a girl, and they can often tell you where you should go in the immediate area. So those are some of your options, and you can shop around, especially if you're going down there. I'd say go for a couple of days, go around, travel, look around, do some of the touristy stuff, enjoy the food, enjoy some drinks, have fun with some and enjoy yourself. And what will it cost? It varies. Like there's an alley, and usually those you can get a girl for anywhere from 30 to $60, like right in that area, but you're not going to get anything pristine. Maybe every so often you might find a diamond in the rough, but the ones who are really attractive in that area, they're going to cost you like 150, even $200, which is the reason why it's usually better to just go to one of the places that offer what they, massage and extra services. And there's some really nice places there as well that are really upper class, upper scale, and you can get a lot of value. So I would recommend going that route, shopping around, and I think that you'll find a lot more value that way if you want to go down that route. If you don't want to go down that route, I would suggest going overseas. Go to the Philippines. I wouldn't say Mexico so much because Mexico is kind of like the U.S. these days. You have to go to like the mountains, like go to like a really to the villages and those kinds of places to find a woman if you want a woman. Because it's so Americanized now. I would say like if you want to like lose it for the first time, go to the Philippines, maybe even Japan, and it's gonna not gonna happen right away. Philippines is instant. You'll find a girl in the Philippines right away. Thailand very quickly. But if you want the girlfriend experience, go to the Philippines and you will get that experience pretty quickly. Just, work out, take care of yourself. You don't have to be anything special. A lot of guys will go over there, they'll get it still without that. And, in terms of talking to the girls and how to interact with them, really they'll come to you, or you can just have a conversation with them, just to see if they're wearing a ring or not. And it really happens very, very quickly. You'll go a lot of times you'll go straight to the hotel and they're just looking for a guy to settle down with. The key is when you're dealing with these girls is to sell them a dream. Like for example, don't give them your actual phone number. Sell them a dream, tell them about all the things that you have and what you can do for them, and basically the things that that they're interested in, and you'll find someone who will reciprocate with you very quickly. And then, I mean, you can be kind, give them a few bucks maybe afterwards. You really don't have to, but because they're going to want to create value, I would just say be nice. Just be nice. Buy them a coffee or something afterwards, and go from there. But if you're looking to lose the V card, those are your really two options. If you want to go see a professional, I would say go down to Tijuana. But of course, be careful. Don't go anywhere alone. Get to know someone. You know, uh, get to know someone if you can go with a friend, or stay within the like in that specific vicinity. Like don't go to like Ensenada, I think that's what it's called, or places that are too far away. But yeah, that's it. What do you guys think? I don't think the story was that nasty. But that was my story my first time. It was nothing, no thrills, nothing too spectacular. Let me know what you guys think. If there's any more, if there are any specific things you want to hear about, any other stories you want me to tell, and I'll cover it in another video. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWM and walking away. And cheers.